Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, winter storm alerts as snow, rain approach. Let's take a listen to the video from meteorologist Josh Judge.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Josh Judge with your look at what's to come over the next 24, 36, 48 hours with this weather system moving in, and it means business in some parts of New Hampshire. There's warnings and watches in effect, winter storm warning in effect here, as you see, for much of northern New Hampshire, pretty much all of northern New Hampshire, and those areas shaded in pink, and these areas in blue, well, that's a winter storm watch. So keep that in mind if you're going to be out today. Southern New Hampshire, far southern New Hampshire, we are seeing winter weather advisories, but that's really about it. Here's a look at Futurecast, and as we go through the afternoon, the rain continues to pick up and the snow developing through northern and parts of western New Hampshire here, elevation-driven snow. And as we go through the evening hours, it intensifies the heavier rain as well as the heavier snow in these regions. And these are right here. This is obviously going to be the area that sees the heaviest amount of snow, most likely. The rain snow line is going to potentially push down toward Concord or Manchester for a brief time overnight, and then it pulls away during the day on Tuesday, and then scattered snow showers Tuesday night as well as Wednesday. So finally, after that moves away, clearing will begin by the time we get to Thursday. So this is one of our computer models, just to show you what type of snowfall being projected from our computer models. Gives you a rough idea of what to expect, and we'll kind of smooth it out for you just to give you a range so you get an idea of what to expect for snowfall amounts here. Highest amounts obviously in these purple areas here, and higher elevations of the Lake Sunapee region, the Monadnock region, up into central New Hampshire and the White Mountains as well. For the rest of this afternoon, those temperatures topping off in the 30s to lower 40s. Tonight we're sinking down only into the 30s, not as cold, but cold enough for snow in some parts. And then tomorrow, rebounding to similar or slightly higher temperatures. Extended forecast, there it is for you, a busy one for the next 48 hours, and then things calm down a little bit. Wednesday, the snow showers will just be scattered and then clearing for the end of the week. That is your forecast. Stay tuned as we monitor the data as it comes in and adjust to any changes that are needed. Have a great rest of the day.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast with meteorologist Josh Judge. And currently, right now, there are 12 closings and delays for tomorrow. If you want to see that list, just go to WMUR.com and click on closings. And let's take a look at your evening traffic commute home on your ride home from work and see what your traffic looks like for this evening. And here's a look at your traffic this evening. We're seeing a lot of green roadways, and we have a lot of yellow and a lot of red spots as well. So it will be slow going this evening on the roadways because there's rain and mixing in different parts of New Hampshire. As you see, a big mess over here and a lot over here. The black stopped, as we can see. There's some little black areas, and that is a stopped standstill area. Otherwise, it is lots of yellow, red, and black and green. Just take it easy, and you'll get home eventually for your evening commute. And now let's go to your news and see your news for the evening. New Hampshire skydiver instructor killed during jump died by suicide, police say. Maine State Police said the death of a skydiver during a jump in September in Lebanon was the result of a suicide. Brett Bickford, 41, of Rochester, New Hampshire, was an instructor at Skydive New England when he died in the September 27 jump. Investigators determined Bickford initially loosened his harness in mid-air. The second jumper landed safely with the parachute. State police interviews with other skydivers and industry officials concluded no experienced skydiver would loosen a parachute harness by mistake. Bickford's body was located the following day in the woods near the skydiving facility. Man killed in two-car crash in Conway. A Massachusetts man was killed in a two-car crash Friday in Conway. The crash happened before 8:30 a.m. Friday at the intersection of East Side Road and Route 16, police said. Police said John Giuliana of Mendon, Massachusetts, failed to stop and continued onto Route 16, hitting a Chevy Tahoe. Giuliana was killed. His passenger suffered non-life-threatening injuries, police said. The driver of the Tahoe was not hurt. Grief we feel is unburstable. Sister of man killed in gas explosion says at hearing. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB and WMUR.
It has been 74 days since explosions and fire caused by natural gas ripped through the Merrimack Valley in Massachusetts. Monday, a Senate subcommittee, including Senator Maggie Hassan, held a hearing into the tragedy. Nearly 24 people were injured, and Lionel Rondon lost his life. His sister urging the senators to make sure this never happens again.
We will not let this loss be without meaning. The grief we feel is unbearable, but we know Lionel wants us to stay strong. We will stand with the community on his behalf.
According to Senator Ed Markey, there are still about 5,000 people who are unable to return home because gas service has not been restored. The chairman of Columbia's parent company, NiSource, says they will make sure that everyone is made financially whole.
We've committed to working with each of the affected individuals, families, and businesses to ensure that we fully understand the impact on them and that we work with them closely to fully compensate them.
In her opening statement, Senator Hassan said what happened back on September 13th is simply incomprehensible.
In the year 2018, people should be able to be confident that they can live in a home where their gas lines don't explode.
In their preliminary report, the NTSB found that gas lines became overpressurized. The chairman of the NTSB says as a result, they've issued 5 urgent safety recommendations, which Columbia Gas and NiSource says they're in the process of implementing.
Now, Columbia Gas originally said that all service would be restored this month. Now the company says that all the gas will be back on by December 16th. In the studio, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New England shrimp won't be available at all this year. A small amount of New England shrimp has been available to the public despite a fishing shutdown in recent years, but that will not be the case this winter. The next few years of a shutdown of the New England shrimp industry will extend to a limited research based fishery that has helped provide a small amount of shrimp to retailers in the past. Fishing regulators have said. The managers recently decided to extend a momentum on northern shrimp fishing until 2021. In some previous years of the momentum, New England's shrimp tailors and trappers have been able to bring some of the popular winter seafood item to market via a program called the Research Set Aside. The Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commissioner has ruled that the population of shrimp, which is jeopardized by a warming ocean, is so low that even the research program isn't going to be implemented this time around. Canadian fishermen harvest the same species, but their product is difficult to find in the United States, rendering the shrimp especially off the market for U.S. consumers. The shutdown has been a pain for consumers and fishermen, said Joe Lasky, a shrimper out of Portland, who previously participated in the research fishery. Many fishermen harvest different species during different times of the year, and the loss of shrimp has hurt them economically, he said. The shrimp population has fallen as the Gulf of Maine has warmed, and the fishery was shut down in 2013. Scientists have said the Gulf of Maine is warming faster than most of the world's oceans. The Atlantic State Commission said in a statement earlier this month that long-term trends environmental conditions have been favorable for the shrimp. Fishermen from Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and especially Maine formerly harvested the shrimp. Maine declined to participate in the research fishery last winter. The Atlantic States Commission has said annually surveyors will continue to be used to provide data about the status of shrimp stock. A spaceport in New England, group eyeing potential launch site. Let's take a listen to the video.
Maine could be getting an opportunity to launch its own project in space. A plan is in the works to make Maine America's leader in sending tiny satellites into space. The plan would use a pair of former air bases as the launch sites and mission control. Maine Technology Institute has put aside $50,000 for a feasibility study. Another group has committed more than $88,000. The project director says we should know more by next fall.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we have a question for all of our viewers on the Riley King Network. We would like to know who makes the best chicken tenders in New Hampshire. Comment below and let us know. We want to hear from you. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Monday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market for this evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed flat. Oil closed flat. U.S. 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VAX closed in the red and went down. Dow jumps more than 300 points, post best day in over 2 weeks as Amazon and GM rise. U.S. stocks jumped on Monday as shares of some beaten down tech companies rebound after posting steep losses last week, while General Motors shares climbed. Trump defends U.S. of tear gas on migrants attempting to breach U.S.-Mexico border. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
15% off TVs, 15% off small appliances, and 15% off apparel and accessories. Cyber Monday, only on Target.com.
Well, Mexico wants to see if they can get it straightened out, but we've, during certain times, as you know, closed the border. They're not coming into the United States. They will not be coming into our country. They're not, as you know, they're not. They had to use because they were being rushed by some very tough people, and they used tear gas. And here's the bottom line. Nobody's coming into our country unless they come in legally.
Okay, and there you go on the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all enjoyed your evening edition of the Riley King Newscast. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, everyone. Bye.